Hi, this is the second video in my three-part series on some of the insights that I've had as I've personally learned about the three principles or the principles behind what it means to be human. Um, I wanted to put out these videos to kind of talk a little bit more as well about a seminar that I'm leading in October around these ideas. And to that end, I wanted to just spend a minute here in the beginning of this video talking a little bit more about that event because I've had some questions about the format and what people can expect and what it's going to be like. So essentially it's a small group kind of setting. I don't know for sure how many people yet, but a relatively small group, and there is a small team of us leaders who are going to be kind of leading the conversation. But what I plan and hope for in the whole event is that it really is like a conversation. I really want this to be an opportunity for people to just get together in a room and learn from each other, and just share openly. And so certainly there'll be topics that I want to discuss and things that, that will kind of lead along the way. But it's always going to be then kind of coming back to you and you having the opportunity to share and speak and ask questions and all of that as much as you want, or not at all if you don't want to. But the opportunity will be there. It really is going to be kind of a back and forth conversation with everyone in the room. And there'll most likely also be small breakout groups and opportunities like that to dive into these things even deeper. And Saturday night, I'm going to plan a totally optional kind of social event where we can just kind of hang out with everyone else that's there. I'll be there. Hopefully some of the other leaders will attend. And you get that time just in a really, really laid back setting. I mean, the event will be pretty laid back as it is, but this will be even more laid back where we can just kind of hang out and chat and, and talk about whatever comes up around these things. And then there will also be some optional phone calls that follow the weekend where I'll be on the phone with you for, I think I'm going to do 3 of those calls kind of weekly or so, or maybe bi-weekly after the event, just to kind of, answer questions that came up once you went home and help people kind of transition and apply these ideas to their everyday life once you kind of get back to everyday life. So that's a little bit about the weekend, and again, I'll make sure you have all the links and all the information to where you can see more details if you're interested. And in this video, I wanted to talk really briefly about a second big insight that I had in this. The first one that I talked about in the last video was it's all good, which was my insight around the fact that if we're feeling anything other than peace and contentment, we're just feeling our very personal, very biased, very temporary take on things. By nature, the inherent nature of all things and of kind of life in general and of us in general is healthy, well, good, peaceful. So when we're not feeling that, we're just feeling our thinking. And that really ties into what this insight is about, which is that it's all thought. So everything we're experiencing always is coming to us. Our experience of it is coming to us via the principle of thought. And we can only feel our thought directly. That's the only thing that we ever experience in life. We never, as crazy as it seems, we never experience people and situations in the outside world directly. We experience our own thinking. Our thinking kind of serves as a prism in a sense, in that stuff, spiritual stuff, non-physical, non-manifest stuff comes up and it kind of hits our prism and it manifests in various ways. And those ways that's the thinking that we have. And so we experience this flood of thinking all the time. And the really crazy thing about it is that it's always coming from within us, and sort of then we're kind of projecting it out to the experiences in our life and the things around us out in the physical world. But it will always look like it's coming from out there in toward us. So, it's always going to look like when you walk into work and you hate your job, that the job makes you miserable. It's just part of being human. And we've been given this amazing gift of consciousness such that every thought that comes into our head gets kind of projected out, and it's in HD and 3D and full color, and it really, really looks like it's out there, it's the job. Or that, if you're not having a lot of connection with your partner, let's say, it's that you need a new partner, or that there's some real issue between the two of you that needs to get worked out. And, and it's not to say that issues don't exist and that changes that it doesn't sometimes really benefit us, so we don't really want to make changes. We certainly do. It's just to see that, like, for me, when I had this insight, it was like it took all the pressure off of everything else out there, because our moment to moment enjoyment of life comes 100% from what's on our mind. That's kind of huge. Our moment to moment misery in life comes 100% from what's on our mind. And it's fun to play the game of life and to set goals and, you know, try to do things in the outside world. That's super fun and everyone should do it. It's great. But our moment to moment experience of life on this planet comes from whatever is in our head and what's going on within us. And it's never going to look that way. It's always going to look like it's coming from outside, and that's okay. Just knowing, just having that, being able to look back at the true source of our experience, so helpful. Because again, you're not connecting with your partner, you don't need to get divorced. Maybe your thinking just needs to shift. Maybe you just have a lot on your mind, or they have a lot on their mind, or whatever's going on. Like, we don't have to manipulate and control and change the environment around us. We can kind of see that we're creating it from within us. And I think that, again, like I said last time about the other insight, there are levels of getting it. You know, when you get this one, I think we all sort of get it on some level. Like, yeah, that makes sense. But when you really get it deeply, like, wow, like none of that stuff out there matters. It's all coming from within me. It makes a gigantic difference. And it leaves you with a lot of time on your hands because you no longer are kind of scrambling to change so much. So I hope that's helpful. I'll be back, you know, with the third video, and that one is my insight around it all being temporary, and that kind of ties the three together. So hopefully, if you're watching all of these videos, you know, you're kind of seeing, you'll start to see how they kind of all tie together, and they'll do something for you. I hope they do, and I'd love to see you at the event. If you need more information or have questions on that, please reach out.